Hello. This is our workshop for our first part of the Deep Learning Design Patterns Primer, Part 1, Getting Started with Deep Neural Networks. The workshop is a Jupyter notebook, and that's hosted inside of our GitHub account. That is a Google Cloud AI Developer Relations GitHub account. And we have a shortcut to it right here. So you just go to that bit.ly link, and that will open the notebook inside of our GitHub account. So you'll find it right here. But we're going to have you run this notebook in Google Colab. So you're going to end up running it on a Google server. And the advantages there is you don't need to have anything set up on your laptop. Everything up there will be in place for you. So we're going to relaunch this in Google Colab by clicking on this link. Okay. Now, we encourage you to change the runtime type. By default in Colab, you get a CPU. And it's if you've used these before in deep learning, you know it's kind of really underpowered. But you can change that runtime to a GPU and get much better performance. So I want to encourage you to do that. But you have to do it before you run your first cell. So we're going to pull down the runtime menu. We're going to go to change runtime type. And under hardware accelerator, we're going to add in a GPU. There we go. So we're all set up now to run faster. So I'm just going to go ahead and run the first cell here. It's just our comment copyright cell. And the reason I'm doing it because this one-time dialog will come up. Google Colab knows that this notebook wasn't authored by Google, and so it just wants to double check with you that you know the origins of this and that it doesn't pose a security risk to your own self and what you're doing. And this is ours, so of course it doesn't, so run it anyways. Okay, now we're ready to run. So there's some right here at the beginning, we have a setup. So we're going to install, by default, Colab, they run TensorFlow 1.x, which would be 1.15. We're doing TensorFlow 2.0. So we're going to update to 2x. And we're also going to get the latest version of NumPy. So let's go ahead and do that. And then at the end, we'll verify our versions. So here we go. So you can see for NumPy, we got 1.18, and for TensorFlow, we got 2.2. Now, all the exercises are fairly simple. They're having you put together very simple deep neural networks. And actually, all the code is there. But what we've done is here and there, we removed some small part and put in question marks. And your job is to figure out what to put to replace the question mark with. And what we do is we give hints above it. So in this case, we're putting together a little neural network. Well, actually up here, it tells you what you're going to have to replace. So here we're going to need to fill in the input shape for a 2828 image. That's mince. We're going to have to specify the number of nodes for our dense layers. And we're going to have to set an activation function. So here we know we have something that's coming in that's 28 by 28. So you need to set up the tuple for that. Then we're going to have that first layer, the flattened layer. It sets the input shape that you set here. Okay, so here we're going to have a dense layer. The comment here is 128 nodes. The hint is, the parameter is the number of nodes. Okay. Then you're setting the activation function, and what is the best practice for an activation function from a non-output dense layer? If you're uncertain, I'll just give you the answer this time. That's a ReLU. And then it continues on. It should compile. If you put it in correctly, it'll compile and then do a summary, and your output summary should look just like this. And then we'll continue on and do more and more like that. So it just keeps going on and on, but it's the same thing each and every time. Every time we leave something out, put double question marks here and give you a hint. Okay, well, I hope you enjoy this lab. It typically takes 10 to 15 minutes to do one of these labs.